What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. You know what? Something I've noticed, and I've been telling you guys this for the longest. Listen, you know, Tyson Fury's supposed to be fighting Alexander Usyk, but for some reason, Fury's doing a lot of talking about things that has nothing to do with Usyk. He's made an apology to the boxing public, okay, about letting the boxing community down with his performance against Ngannou. Yet, Usyk is the guy you're fighting. He sat there butting heads with Usyk, putting his head on Usyk's head and trying to bully Usyk. Usyk wasn't having it. And I'm saying, look at his face. He can't bully Usyk. It's getting to him. It's bothering him. He really don't like the fact that Usyk isn't backing down. 2, look at his demeanor against Francis Ngannou. Why wasn't he calling Francis Ngannou a foreigner and you know, saying all these things about what he's going to do to him and nothing. The only thing he said was, the fact is you're not a boxer, and that's where I'm going to take advantage. And I'm saying to myself, yeah, we all know that Francis is not a boxer, which is exactly why we're laughing at you. You know, so he did all of that talking in a nice way. He's sitting there holding his fat belly, flapping his belly around. Remember all this goofy shit he was doing? Why do you think he's apologizing or saying he let the boxing public down? He's embarrassed. I told you guys this. He's embarrassed. His pride is hurt. And he can't bully Alexander Usyk. So, I've been telling you guys this. For all of this shit that you guys are saying about him, and I don't give a fuck if it's the people on Talk Sports and any of these other people that support Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, okay, has pretty much been able to have his way with Deontay Wilder. And yeah, Dylan White went there and made an ass of himself, but basically all of this comparing him to Ali and Larry Holmes and Lennox Lewis and Holyfield and Tyson and calling him the greatest of all times and all of this shit, there's still work to be done. And you have not seen him have to like switch up and do things differently, show that he possessed all these different skills. No, he just was able to walk Wilder down. And the reason people were so overwhelmed by that is because Wilder's supposed to be the big puncher, right? But he gets stopped by the pillow-fisted guy, right? So that's what that is. Embarrassment. And pretty much he's talked himself into making people believe that he can do this. He can, things we've never even seen him do, but he can do it because it's funny, but he's undefeated. Well, so is Floyd Mayweather. Big deal. But with certain fighters, being undefeated don't mean anything, right? Doesn't mean it, but with him being undefeated, well, look at it this way, right? He's just as obsessed with trying to with this hatred. Let me say it like that. This is hate. It's like he has a hatred for Usyk. I'm telling you guys, we've seen Kambosos try this shit with Devin Haney. You've seen Tyson try this shit with Lennox Lewis. You know, it's certain fighters who, when you listen to them, and all of a sudden, all this anger, this rage, it's like, what you guys are not understanding, that fighter is not as confident as he wants us to think he is. And that is a scare tactic. And when it doesn't work, they completely fall apart and lose their shit. Because, no, this little guy's supposed to be afraid of me. Yeah, he's calling him a cruiserweight. He said all this shit, and no matter what he says, Usyk just keeps his cool. See, Tyson Fury is so similar to Deontay Wilder in so many ways that people don't even get it. Remember when Wilder had that belt? I remember people talk about Wilder was the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. I'm like, are you fucking stupid, man? I mean, I don't even believe in no greatest of all time shit, but honestly, and it's a little more detail. I'm not going into all of that, but man, look at his resume. This man was fighting people that was like rank 400 Literally from like 100s all the 400s while he was champion. And there's always excuses as to why he did it. And, you know, it comes down to this, y'all. This man never fought Klitschko. He could have. Why didn't he go knock out Charles Martin and take his belt? Right? So, I'm going to get into that in another video. But, pretty much, man, he held up the division, fighting a bunch of scrubs. Okay? And all of a sudden, he comes up with this calling Luis Ortiz the boogeyman. Because he was undefeated at the time and decent fighter. Nothing special. Decent fighter. And he beat him. And at the end of the day, never fought AJ. I mean, I'm going to save that. I'm going to save it. But look at Fury. You know what? As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm not going to save it. I'm going to do it right here, right now in this video. So, let's look at it. Wilder himself he didn't do much of shit. Just knocked out guys. That wasn't good. So we all thought Tyson Fury, you know, and he come with his little comeback story and how he overcame depression and people and won some people over with his story. And all of a sudden, there was a time when, remember Deontay Wilder? It ain't about the money. It's about legacy. Tyson Fury, it's not about the money. The money doesn't make me. I don't need the belts. I've been champion. I don't care about that. I just like to fight. He went from that to, I'm not fighting nobody unless they're giving me a boatload of money. And the thing is, when you see through the bullshit, the stupid fanboys that they have always trying to come at you with comments about, yeah, but Aries, he got to feed a family. No shit, Sherlock. That's exactly the point what we're talking about. Legacy ain't feeding shit. Stop with that bullshit. They're the ones who say it, but you see the actions come differently, right? Then all of a sudden we thought that if he beat Tyson Fury, beat Wilder, he was going to hold the division up. He's going to fight AJ, and finally, Undisputed was going to happen. Even when AJ lost to Ruiz, Fury and Wilder both was talking shit. They was hoping it was over for AJ. But then he comes back in the rematch and he wins. And then all of a sudden you look. I say, damn. They're so similar. This motherfucker like to sing after his fights. Deontay like to twerk. I mean, they both they talk shit. The difference with the two of them is Fury's just like one of those. He's a clown. He's like a showman clown. He likes to just say a lot of shit. Deontay Wilder says a lot of shit that makes no sense. And they both contradict themselves and they both lie about shit. Okay. Tyson Fury. He knows that Usyk is a threat. Tyson Fury is not as confident, and he never was, as people believe. That's why he says shit like, he's calling this dude a cruiserweight, a middleweight. Then he goes, you know, he's like I'll knock him out in 1 or 2 rounds. I can train. What he say? I can train, or we can beat him, and all this stuff that he says. Then he turns around, right after all of that, and he's being interviewed, and he says, "That's just another fight, isn't it? That's no big deal. Just 2 guys fighting." Why is he saying that? Because his confidence isn't what you guys think it is. So that way, if he loses to Usyk, right? Look, you know, it's just 2 guys fighting. It's not the end of the world. It's just a fight. You know, these things happen, right? That way, basically, no, it's not that big of a deal. We're just 2 guys that went there to fight. Better man won. That's all. He won the fight. But he turns around not even 2 minutes later and said, "This is the biggest fight in boxing, in heavyweight boxing right now. It's a mega fight." Well, you called him a little foreigner, said no one knows him, little dirty teeth, bug-eyed man, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're not even a man of your word, man. We all know that now. But he said all of these things, and then he tries to shoot down his own fight. This is when, like, one of the stupidest things, I don't care if it was Muhammad Ali, whoever, I don't care who it is. One of the stupidest things you can do is shoot down your own fucking fight. Because you make people not want to watch it. Like, why would I want to watch it if this guy's a bum? Jarrell Miller talking shit about Daniel Dubois and had more to say about Anthony Joshua than anybody else. Yet you're fighting Daniel Dubois. Stupid move that fighters do. Okay, so that being said, I'm looking at Anthony Joshua and I'm looking at Wilder and I'm like, look at some of these motherfuckers. They both fought Molina. They fought some of the same guys. Brazil. Like, Brazil was undefeated when Anthony Joshua fought him. Anthony Joshua was belt collecting when he beat Joseph Parker. Here it is, 2023, and Deontay's just fighting him now. Now. Deontay Wilder said everybody knows the only belt that matters is that green belt. Them other belts don't mean nothing. Why? Because AJ was holding him and he wasn't. Now at 38 years old, all of a sudden, oh, you know, my goal is to become undisputed. It means everything to me. Why? Because you're 38 now, your options are not what they used to be, and you realize you're not no megastar, and then you're blaming people. Deontay Wilder had the nerve. See, this was after the smile, the handshake, the fake words about I wish you nothing but the best, and he did exactly what I said, hey, man. What he needed to do is keep that same energy on another interview when Anthony Joshua's not in front of him and don't have anything but just kind words. Well, he basically said that Anthony Joshua was pretty much manufactured. He wasn't born a champion. He was made into a champion. So basically, the white man named Eddie Hearn pretty much, you know, pulled him by his leash and gave him opportunities that he never got. Deontay Wilder sat here and said, at the end of the day, you your own boss. And if you really want to fight, it'll happen. So why didn't you fight all these other people? Why? You said you were a bigger star. You and Fury tried to get together, remember? See, when the best want to fight the best, it's easy. You know what I'm saying? No, y'all both was trying to freeze out Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua was a bigger star than you and fucking Deontay Wilder put together. You see how everybody was talking this shit about how Tyson Fury is no doubt the A-side. He's a huge star and all that. And then his last pay-per-view with Francis Ngannou. Yeah, they tried to do a heavyweight Mayweather versus McGregor, and it failed miserably. So that's what the biggest star in boxing does? No, he's never... And you know the crazy thing about it is, everybody talks about boxing is only popping when the heavyweight division is popping, right? Who the fuck has ever called Tyson Fury the face of boxing? Yeah, because it's been Canelo for how long? It was Mayweather, it was Canelo, now Tank is there. You know, Tank has legal issues, so he's been kind of quiet. But, you know, just saying, who has ever called Tyson Fury the face of boxing? So when you look at it, people believe the hype. They try to sell these wolf tickets to people, try to get you to see things for what it's not. But, you know, this guy pretty much did all this talking. Man, you just got dropped and embarrassed, okay, by a novice guy with no fights. And you want to talk percentages, you want to talk about star power, you want to talk about being the A-side. All of that shit that he said. Well, Francis Ngannou did a short video and said, you know I was robbed against Tyson Fury, and I'm the best boxer in the world, and I know that, and I'm just waiting for my rematch. And I said, yeah, he's going to ride this wave as long as he can. But here's the reality. Tyson Fury, there's still work to be done. There's still work to be done for Deontay. There's still work to be done for AJ and all these guys who are still competing. The problem is, like I said, when you finally now, it's like, imagine if Joe Frazier and Ali first time fighting would have been a Thriller in Manila. Great fight, but like, there was no reason for them to not get it on when they were younger. You understand what I mean? So we know Ali pretty much was banned from boxing for 3.5 years. So, you know, he came back, had 2 warm-up fights, and then got in there with Joe. But just saying, right? If Ali wasn't gone for all that time, he wasn't training anything that, going through that, I know what I think would have happened, but that's neither here nor there. The reality is, it's your goal and your duty, okay, to want to clean up your division and say, I've beaten everybody that I needed to beat. Everything now is like, nope, I don't care that he's a great fighter. I'm going to tell the world that he isn't shit. He's not on my level, and I'm going to avoid him. And basically, when you have sheep, it's easy to do that. So when I'm listening to Tyson Fury talk, I just cringe listening to this guy, man. He says things, and it's like, I don't see how people can get so caught up into lies. And the nonsense is just so repetitive. So that nervous energy that you see, him, all this gritting his teeth and putting his forehead on Francis Ngannou, he was so respectful to Francis. Where was all that then? Where was all that anger and rage then? You should have been feeling like, okay, here's a novice. I'm about to make a big payday fighting a guy that shouldn't be in the ring with me. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to destroy him. No, you're in there slapping your fat, greedy belly, laughing, joking, being an asshole, and now you and basically saying that this fight, you and old fish-eyed fucking Frank Warren sitting up here talking about this fight was bigger than you versus Usyk. Really? So now you let boxing down. You made it. I don't give a fuck what Max Kellerman, Teddy Atlas, Roy Jones, or whoever the fuck says. No, you embarrassed yourself. Yeah, you made boxing look like shit because your reputation and the reputation of boxing was on your shoulders. And you went there and got embarrassed. And then when people go, see, I told you, man, boxing is overrated, yo. Like, that shit, yo, come on, man. Anybody could do that shit. This motherfucker got in there with one fight. One. And got robbed. Because that's the story everybody got. Yeah. So, when you watch him go in there with all this nervous energy against little, why do you feel the need to get so angry for a little middleweight that you only need a week to beat to train for? Why are you so tense? Huh? Why are you so? And I'm telling you, you look at any fighter who has had that type of, like, so wait, so you mean to tell me you're angry because instead of you being honored to share the ring with another warrior, because that's how real warriors feel, right? Instead, you feel angry because another gladiator want to go to war with you? Make that make sense. And for Deontay Wilder, I told you, see, look at this guy in front of Anthony Joshua, smiling, stuck his hand out to shake Anthony's hand. Anthony kind of hesitated. He shook his hand anyway, whatever, okay. But had nothing tough to say. So I feel like, why at the press conference didn't he say, well, you know what, to be honest with you, I wanted to fight Anthony Joshua for a long time. And pretty much, Anthony Joshua, as far as I'm concerned, he was manufactured, man. He was given opportunities that I wasn't given. You understand me? So bottom line is, when he grows some nuts and decide to fight me, I'll gladly knock him out. But right now, I got Joseph Parker in front of me. No. Why didn't he want to say anything? Because he knows he would have got roasted. And he knows the truth. That bullshit, fake 50 million nonsense. He had the nerve to bring this up after, on a separate interview, afterwards. But here you go. See, what if the people at the Zone would have said, $120 million, you got 24 hours to accept it, no negotiations, no talk, take it or leave it. No, it's not what they did. The punk-ass excuse that Wilder and Frank Warren gave was that they would not tell them how much money that they was giving Anthony Joshua. And see, this is when him having that little green belt hostage and AJ was walking around with his 3 belts. Well, Deontay told himself that he was some big star and he thought that the fight should be 50-50. Yeah, but it wasn't about money, it was about legacy, right? That was his words. He never bring up that 120, but he always want to try to resort to that 50 million bullshit. Shh, we offered him 50 million, he didn't take it though. Yeah, bullshit offer, bullshit. There was no negotiations or nothing. The zone offered you 120. You told Dillian White you'll freeze him out for 2 years. So see, my thing, people, is this. Instead of fighters trying to tell everybody who they can beat and how fast they're going to knock them out, they're going to do this and that, go in there and do it against worthy guys. So he's saying he's going to knock out Joseph Parker in 2 to 3 rounds. Okay, let's see. But here's the reality, right? Even in him saying that, he should have been fought Joseph Parker. He says, oh, I'm the excitement. Everybody tell you boring boxing boring without you. Yeah, that's your fanboys with that bullshit, man. That fuck out of here. What the fuck? Who was telling you that? Malik Scott? Huh? or the people in your corner that lie for you about situations, like the guy that sat there and said you never made the comment about your costume was too heavy or whatever. Yeah. At the end of the day, you know, it's like making a song and the only people that get to hear your music is your friends. And you think the whole world is going to react the way your friends do. Then you go out there and go on the road and realize you're not getting the same reactions. That type of shit. Man, you say one thing, you do something else. He should have been fought Joseph Parker. He should have been fought Andy Ruiz. So if you're the excitement in the heavyweight division and boxing is boring without you, then why the fuck haven't you been in the ring fighting? And to say you didn't get the opportunities that Anthony Joshua got, well, you're the big star, right? AJ had to work to get to wherever. AJ was fighting the top guys. AJ became champion on what, his 16th fight, 15 or 16th fight? And you were still fighting guys ranked in the 400s. And you was already had a head start. You and Tyson Fury both over AJ. Yet, you have the weakest resume of any world heavyweight champion. That's noticeable. So we're not talking about a Bermane Stiverne type motherfucker or Charles Monroe. Nobody ever made a real big deal out of him anyway. You know, the most praise that Bermane Stiverne got, and he's still fighting now, and just think he lost 2 or 3 straight fights or whatever. But the most praise that I remember him getting was when he fought Chris Arreola those 2 times. And that was pretty much the best guy on his resume. And, you know, it's one thing to be a contender and be decent at one point, but these guys lose hunger. They I don't know, it's like they just don't get better. And they just become complacent with what they do. And at the end of the day, all of this talking about, I'll knock this guy, okay, cool. And see, I'm going to say it this way. May the best man win. We seen Joshua versus Parker. So, it's not so much, I feel like I'd rather see AJ versus Wilder. So, in that sense, it's like, yeah, I'd rather see the best man is going to win. Put it like that. As long as there's no decision, there's no some robbery type shit. But the better man is who deserve to fight the winner of the other fight. Okay, let's put it that way. Now, for him to even say, Deontay Wilder, that him and Parker should be the headliner over AJ and Waleed. Why? A man that you basically said you're going to knock out in 2 to 3 rounds. You thought you was going to knock out Fury too. And listen, if he does beat Parker, great. AJ, if he beats Waleed, great. If the fight ever actually finally happens, this is something that was put off for so long. When it does actually happen, if and when it happens, the excuse that Deontay Wilder fans are going to make if AJ knocks him the fuck out, oh, AJ waited for him to get old. That same lame excuse people been using for certain fighters forever. And it's like, man, listen. If you want to make something happen, right? If you really want to make something happen, this is Wilder's own words, is easy. So you mean to tell me that nobody else wanted to fight you out there? Nobody? Yeah, so when you fight somebody's leftovers that done been battered and bruised and pretty much has-beens washed up, no longer good. Even when he fought Chris Arreola, man, Chris Arreola, was at that point, sometime a fighter has to be rejuvenated, man, And, Chris came back, fought Andy. Andy looked sloppy, didn't look his best in that fight. And Chris was holding his own until he messed his shoulder up. But bottom line is, like people will say, yeah, but he looked good against Andy. Yeah, he was holding his own for a little while. It's not even when he fought, Chris Arroyo, when he fought Deontay. Deontay was sticking the jab out, moving, just kept backing up, jabbing, moving, and he finally caught up to him, finally got him out of there. Okay, but at the same fucking time, so Bermane Stiverne, he wound up knocking out Chris Arreola as well. So when you look at fights, you can't just say, oh, well, he'll beat Andy Ruiz because, Ruiz wasn't doing so good. No, Ruiz, little by little, started to chop him down, and, he hurt his shoulder in the fight, whatever. But bottom line is this, like I said, win these fights. Fight these motherfuckers and win. But you're going to see, and this is the thing about Wilder, because we've seen it all the time, his lack of boxing skills shows in every fight. It's just that the anticipation for him to land the right hand. That's what it comes down to. So, for him, I don't really give a shit how these fighters feel about each other. But there's no reason that you should say all of this shit after you get away from a guy and you're on the camera by yourself being interviewed. But when you got this motherfucker face to face, it's like, man, if I'm fighting anybody, you keep a level head, I keep a level head. I'm not one for all the arguing, because bottom line is we got to fight. Come fight night, I'm going to punish you. It's not going to be any fucking friendship or we cooler. Nah. And depending on how I feel about you after the ass whooping determines what the fuck I'm going to do next. You understand what I mean? But if I don't like you, nah. I'm not going to say nice things about somebody I don't like. You understand what I mean? Because if you're a nice person, you do things the right way, and I just don't like you, that means I'm a bit of an asshole, right? So how could you sit here and say, I wish you nothing but the best. It's good to be in the same room with him, and, it's been a long time, and all this and that. AJ just staring at him the whole time watching, and he's doing all of this, nothing but pleasantries. Just to do the same lame shit that everybody knew he was going to do, is get on a separate interview. Now you want to talk shit. So if AJ was manufactured, what the fuck was you then? A nobody who basically was still manufactured. Why? Because you managed to have the WBC. You got it from Bermane Stiverne, who was never much of nothing anyway. He was just a contender. And, he got his belt fighting Chris Arreola. Loss of his very first defense. Okay, but bottom line is, you fought him, and you fought a bunch of nobodies. And if you look at guys like Duhaupas and Molina and all these guys, man, some of these guys that you were actually fighting, it's like, okay, are you fighting these guys because you really want to fight these guys, or are you scared? Because we know that Shelly Finkel stood there and said he wasn't going to put you in the ring with Vladimir Klitschko. You're just a baby, a 30-year-old baby at the time. Yeah. Okay? 8 goddamn years ago. So you basically never got there with Klitschko. And to say you never got those opportunities, no, you never took those opportunities. What you mean you never got those opportunities? And according to you, everything in your camp was going just fine, right? So we remember when Lou DiBella tried to make that fight with Klitschko, remember that? And they wound up firing his ass? Yeah, no explanation as to why they got rid of Lou DiBella. We knew what was going on. So these guys, man, they say one thing and they do another. So Tyson Fury, yeah, you let boxing down, you let yourself down. Boxing itself, the powers that be have been letting boxing down far before you, and they're continuing to do it. And they're letting fighters like you have your way, no mandatories, just do what you want to do. So I blame all of them. These sanctioning bodies, everybody. It's all about the almighty dollar. And the fact of the matter is that within 10 days for them to put this card together that they have, well, it just goes to show you that, we always know that money's the driving force. It's a business. But it goes to show you that you have to be put in a situation where you look like a complete sucker, a complete wimp, a complete bitch, a complete soft wuss if you decline being on a card like that. And that's why I said they need to do these round robin tournaments. Boxing need to have mandatory tournaments scheduled to where they have, okay, this is what we're going to do, then we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. Because these fighters are just making up the rules as they go. They're changing the rules as they go. They're ducking people. And then these sanctioning bodies keep making these stupid ass belts up so they can just keep fucking not fighting the guys that everybody want to see them fight, because basically you're their golden boy at the point in time and they don't want to see you lose. Because if you lose, then guess what? The thrill is gone. So yeah, you are in your feelings because you got embarrassed against Ngannou. You're arrogant, you're cocky, you're pompous. I think you lost your fire. I think you lost your mojo. And pretty much you tried the bullying tactic with Usyk and it didn't work. You know, now you're sitting up here worried about apologizing about Francis Ngannou. Then you turn around and start talking about how this little foreigner is not on your level. You only need a week to beat him. Now all of a sudden it's just two guys fighting. It's not that big a deal, really. This and that. Then turn around and say it's the biggest fight in boxing right now. I mean, you're coming and going. I don't want to hear nothing about. I get so sick of hearing that bullshit bipolar disorder bullshit excuse. The guy is just a fucking fraud, man. Deontay Wilder called himself Mr. Excitement, talk about how where you go, people say boxing is born without him, but yet he hasn't got the opportunities that AJ got. Yet people want to see knockouts. That's what I do. That's what I bring to the table. Okay, so why the fuck you didn't get the opportunities? You telling me these guys didn't want to fight you? Come on, man. Stop it. Just saying, you know, that's some coward shit to have a face-to-face and have nothing to say but nice things. You know what you are? You're Smokey from Friday. Debo be like, shut the fuck up. I'll be quiet. As soon as he leave, I'll be talking again. That's exactly what you are, man. I told y'all when I was watching the press conference, I'm looking at comments and people talking about, I even seen Wilder fans talking about, yo, they face to face Wilder, and AJ won't even look at Wilder. I'm like, yo, you, whatever the fuck you smoking, man, you need to stop smoking that shit, because you hallucinating. Because I seen the entire time that Wilder, when Wilder starts talking, AJ staring right at this motherfucker the whole time. And Wilder's cutting his eye. He's talking to the guy that was asking him the questions. Yeah. That's how that went. And where was all this? Yo, you're manufactured. Yo, you're not the real deal. You got opportunities that I never had. Yet, but you was this, and we know who was making the bigger paydays. We know the money that you was making. I mean, come on, man. That $120 million was offered at a time when you was making like $2.5 million or $2 million, whatever it was. A fight, 1.4, whatever. And then your money didn't really increase until the Fury fight, after the first Fury fight. And those 3 fights with Fury, yeah, you got paid very well. So at the end of the day, all this bullshit when you and Fury had a fucking verbal agreement that you guys were going to fight 3 times. After the first fight, right? You said that y'all shook hands and said that y'all was going to fight again. Bottom line. And then it would be 3 times. Why? Because guess what? First fight, they called it a draw. So second fight, somebody got to win, right? And whoever win, well, we're going to do the 3rd time and see if we can even it up, or let's see who take the series. So what the fuck opportunities is it that you didn't get? You and Fury wanted to freeze out AJ. And here's the thing. Through the good and bad, AJ made it just fine without you guys. And if you look at his resume, he only lost to Ruiz. He avenged that loss, which y'all never talk about. And he lost twice to Usyk. 2 guys who still you never fought. Nope. But it's funny, when people thought that Charles Martin you were fighting, your fanboys started trying to big up Charles Martin. All of a sudden, he's no longer a bum. Robert Helenius all of a sudden comes out of nowhere and ends up being in the title eliminator with you. And so, yeah, Robert Helenius is a good fighter, man. Yeah, man, yo, he a good dude. Yeah. Right. Then all of a sudden, he fights Anthony Joshua, and all of a sudden, AJ's handpicking. This is how you motherfuckers are full of shit. Wait, he cherry-picked him? Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it supposed to be Anthony Joshua versus Dillian White, who failed his drug test again? Okay, and however it went, Robert Helenius was chosen. Well, how the fuck is it okay for you to fight him? And all of a sudden, he's a good, solid guy, a good dude. But all of a sudden, when Anthony Joshua fights him, oh, he handpicked. Oh, he was cherry-picked. Oh, wow. So when you use the term cherry-picked, that means the guy that you're fighting isn't that good. Which means if that's the case, you knew he wasn't that good when he fought Wilder. So why is it okay for Wilder but not AJ? This is what I mean about you motherfuckers, man. Like y'all say dumb shit. You know, these fighters say dumb shit, and y'all sit there and act like y'all too stupid to see what's going on. But anything that any other fighter says is, oh, well, he said this and he said that. And, you know, listen. How I honestly feel about AJ versus Wilder is this. I don't really care personally. Like, it's just something you want to see. I've outgrown the whole talk about who did what and said whatever, like, to where it's like, it doesn't even, either the fight's going to happen or it's not. So this is why I said, you know, now, preferably, you want to see both guys win so they can clash with each other, right? But the way I see it, whoever wins deserves to be put in that fight. The problem is, let's say, for example, if Wilder lost to Parker and AJ lost to Wallin, who really cares about Parker versus Wallin? In terms of really, people really, oh, I want to see that fight, you know? If, you know, Parker beat Wilder and AJ beats Wallin, then we got AJ versus Parker too. If Deontay beats, you know, Parker and Wallin beats AJ, well, then you got Wallin versus Wilder. Who really cares about that fight? You know, and this is what I'm saying. So in terms of star power, in terms of who you like as a fighter, who can, you know, get people's attention, certain fighters, every fighter don't have that. And this is a fight that if you look at it, it's like, well, damn, okay. You think they both should win their fights, right? Everybody want to give their picks. Everybody keeps talking the same shit. AJ ain't been the same since he lost 2 weeks. Okay, well, you can only say Wilder's still the same after getting his ass whooped by Fury simply because he basically went in there with Robert Helenius and knocked him out in the first round. Not to mention their sparring partners, right? So they know each other's style. Yeah, never thought about that. But does it matter? No. No, like I said, when you get in there with somebody that's going to fight you back, that's when you see what this person is really made of. So, you know, we'll see what happens come fight night. But I just thought it was real interesting. Like, I wasn't shocked what Wilder did, and I'm not shocked about nothing that Fury does because, I mean, I won't even be shocked if Fury wound up pulling out the fight some kind of way. Oh, he had another mental breakdown or some shit happened. Oh, he hurt his hand in sparring. Who knows? Because this dude talks mega shit. And, you know, sat there and talked about how, you know, Usyk can't get out of this fight. There's no way he can get around it. He's contracted to fight me on the 23rd of December. And if he does, he's going to be sued. Didn't he say that? And then he turns around and all of a sudden he wants to go and see his baby because he hasn't seen his baby for months. And, yeah, right. Right. That's a diva for you. Everything has to be exactly the way I say it should be. Well, stop talking so much shit. If you're not ready to get your ass back in that ring, you the one did all this talking. You the one talked about all you need is a week for him. For the little middleweight, little dirty teeth bug-eyed man. Anyway, I done talked about these hoes enough. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. How y'all feel about what Wilder did? Played nice in front of AJ just to turn around and go on a separate video and become a chatty patty. Tyson Fury, you know, and not to mention, in that same interview I'm talking about, he talked more about AJ than he did Joseph Parker. Yet that's who he's fighting. Tyson Fury turns around, starts apologizing about letting boxing down, and you know how he feeling, he could have did better and all that against Ngannou, and you know, now he's trying to bully in tactics with Usyk. You know, what y'all think about Fury? What y'all think about Tyson Fury and his actions? Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.